This is Irontrader, and this is midday trading. So we'll take a look at some stocks here. Apple and Amazon, they're going to be reporting earnings after the bell. Then we'll take a look here at Tesla and at PLTR, which is coming out on the 4th of August. And then we're going to take a look here at Costco. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Apple. Now, we'll take a look here. Meta right now is up 85 points. Microsoft is up 24 points. Really blowout numbers, but it's really sticking to it. Now, remember Google, when they had their numbers, it popped up to 197. Yesterday it got right back up there, but now you're sitting back at 192 level. But Meta is a really one that you want to buy. I think you want to hold. Next one here that's going to be coming up is going to be NVIDIA. That's not going to be here till August 27th, so you got plenty of time to get into that. But right now, let's take a look at Apple, which their earnings are right after the close today. Now, no one is expecting really a whole lot out of Apple. They say, well, it's kind of too big. It's like the Titanic try to turn around. But let's just see, take a look at the charts. Now, you can see we had this series of lower highs and lower lows, and now we have like a sideways consolidation kind of a situation. But we never had that big rally up. But again, you know, if you look at Apple's numbers, okay, let's just take a look at it. Okay, here was Apple's numbers. Look at there, how we rallied nicely. Here again, nicely. Here again, nicely. And then we had the sideways action. Now, nobody's expecting too much out of Apple, and that could be maybe a mistake where this could pop right on up here nicely. This reminds me of that chart of Meta yesterday, where it was pretty much the same thing, and then look how much you just ripped up higher. Well, let's take a look. Well, what we want to watch on the downside, you can see where it came yesterday, and we held that 100 days. So that's what we're going to be looking at, is that 206. And then we're going to be looking here at that 50-day at 205.39. Now, if we lose that, we'll bring this price channel right across, and you're looking at 199.26, and then we bring that price channel across. You look at 195.07, and then we have a retest down here at that 193.46 level. You know, we just have this sideways. It just doesn't seem to want to get through this price channel at that 216.23 level. But on the upside, what you're really watching is that 21-day at 211, the 212, that's your 8-day. And then we have that test of a 216.23. That is going to be your breakout. And then the next level is 221.71 level. That's going to be where we're going to be going. It's going to be that 200-day simple moving average. Now, if we can break out of this consolidation period, we have a lot of. Now, there is a gap fill all the way up here at 221.02. That's just below this 221.71 level. But if it gets to that 200-day, obviously it will fill that gap. But again, we look at top. Look at there. You got 225.62. We come right over the top of that candle, 241. You got 250, you got 260. The key is you have to break out of this price channel, that situation of 216.23, then we can go higher. But right now we had that descending, but we just have consolidation. I think everybody's waiting for the earnings. We'll have to see how that shakes out. Now, you're nowhere near overbought at all, nothing going on here. We're just sitting basically at 47, and right here we have this 50, the green crossed over the red, but it's just like a sideways kind of an action trading. So bottom line here, just watch that 100-day on the downside, that 50-day, and then that retest all the way down here at that pretty much 199 level. Then we could venture on down. But upside, you have to get above that 216 level and then take it up higher. Now, I'm a long-term holder of this. I'm not really I really trade this 4 times a year. I usually buy it ahead of earnings, then I sell it into the day of earnings. So, you know, this is how I kind of trade it. And then I wait and see what the after hours is and what the news is, because they usually report about a half hour later, about 4:30. And then I make a decision if I want to sell the rest of the shares, hold them, or whatever I do. So that's really how I trade the old Apple. Okay, let's take a look here now at Amazon. We have Amazon, and you can see how nice this chart is just trending up. We had a nice double bottom, and look how nice it's just trending up. And look at your RSI, very, very strong, but not overbought. Sideways action on the MACD, but not overbought. Look at just a beautiful, nice trend. I think Amazon is going to blow away numbers. Now, they had Amazon Prime will be in this, so we got to see how that's all going to really pay off in kind of a situation, because it kind of got a slow start, but we'll have to see how it all shakes out here when they have the earnings. Now, when we look to the upside, what we're going to watch is that 236 flat. That's going to be very, very key. Now, if we can get above that 236 flat, we have this little gap fill all the way up here. It's at, well, 236.01. So it's really, it's a nothing burger. So you want to look at the top of that candle at 239. Then we'll come over here to the top of this candle at that 242.52. And that's your breakout to take it up higher to maybe say that 250 area, 260 area. We got to see how it all shakes out. Now we look at the earnings in the past. See, went up and nicely. Or look at here we have, and it nicely. And then we had this earning here and not so nicely. But look at this earnings. Nicely, gap right up, and then she just kept right on rising. Now, did it rise up with the rest of the market because of the AI trade, or is it because of that earnings situation? So we got to see how that shakes out. Now, on the downside, you really want to watch that 8-day 230. If not, we'll come to that catch-all, that 21-day. If we lose that, we'll come down to the price channel at 218. You had the 50-day at 217. Then we have 209, your 200-day, and then we have your 100-day at 203. Those are all your big support levels. Now, there is a gap all the way down here at 197.85, and then we have a fill at 194.69. Your gap and your fill. We also have another gap down here. You look at the bottom, 178.85, and then we look at the fill at 176.78. So you have some gaps to fill if this stock gets hammered, which I don't think it will. I just think you have a really nice, good uptrend. Look how nice in consolidation. Very, very smooth all the way on up. Look at that. That's really, really nice. Okay, so to watch that 236, we crack above that, we'll be looking for that 242.52 on the upside. Okay, let's take a look here now at Tesla. Here we have Tesla. Now, what's happening is it's falling out. Now, Ford came out and they're crying, and I'm sure GM is crying with the tariffs. I can't do this. I can't sell a car for $200,000 or whatever they're trying to do. I just think this Farley at Ford has got to go. I think he's a very, very poor manager. Very, very poor. Just look back to when Alan Mulally was there. It was a $1.21 stock, and he drove it all the way up to a $22.50 stock. Alan Mulally was a key. He came from Boeing. Ever since then, you got nickel and dimers that are coming in here that don't really know. I don't think they really understand the auto business. That what is the end game? You can't keep selling a truck for $80,000, $100,000. Yeah, I can afford it. Maybe you can afford it. That's not the point. Your average person going to work can't afford that with a family and a house and groceries and everything on that order. You got to get this under control here. You can't pay a guy on the line $140,000 a year to work 6 hours a day. It just isn't going to work. They have to figure out exactly how they can come up with some kind of agreement that they can build these cars for 30, 40, 50 grand or below kind of a situation. So you have an affordability price. But as Farley, I don't know. I think absolutely nothing of what he's doing as far as a job goes. He's got every excuse in the book here now. So let's just look at Tesla. Okay, so Tesla's getting hammered kind of on that news. But again, Tesla here, you just look at what they had for numbers. Nothing. Declining revenue, declining sales. And then he comes out with, he's going to make 5,000 robots. And, the Cybertruck is going to maybe come back in production until 26, and you're selling dreams. Okay, but however, this is one of my favorite trading stocks, and that's exactly what this is, trading stock. Easy way to trade this: TSLA is the long, TSLS is the short. I made an absolute killing on the short ski when he was buying this ridiculous thing, X or whatever. It paid 5 times, 10 times what that thing is worth. And I don't know if that was here. I forget where that was. But anyway, that was a really beautiful short situation. Another good short, going on. So what we have here with Tesla is you can see this series: high, lower high situation. You have a downtrending chart. People get excited. They're going to run up. But you notice, look at how this is why you trade the chart. Yeah, you got above the 21-day. You ran into the 8-day, got above that. You ran into above the 50-day, and it just could not hold. Now look at here. Now look how it's holding. It's just blocking it down, and the 8-day is curling over. So what we're really watching is we're watching yesterday's low at that 311.62. Then we'll come down to the bottom at on this candle right there at 308, and then we're going to be watching this 300 flat pretty much, and then we have that 296 level, and then we have your retest at 288. Now, if this keeps on getting hammered, you have 281, and then we have 273. Now, you have this gap. I like to show you this gap. Okay, you have, if you look at the bottom of this candle, you've got 244.43, and then we have 242.79. Your gap, your fill, and you come all the way down to 214. Now, remember, we have a rising market here, and you have a big melt up because of this tech and the AI and everything. But again, just watch. I'm telling you, just watch that August, September, October period. If you get a sell-off, this will be one that's going to get hammered. This is not going to stay, above everything else. It just doesn't work that way. Now, with this robo-taxi, there's laws to this. You just to say, hey, I'm coming into the city, you got to get permits. Waymo is way ahead. They're already into 16, 18 cities. And Tesla's still fooling around with 20 people in Texas. Okay, it's just not it. So always remember, this is a trading stock. Okay, when people say they have a target on, this is going to 500. Well, it might, but then again, it's never going to go right straight there. It always goes up in levels. So always trade level to level. But again, if you look at just their numbers, declining sales, and just remember, in the September, that $7,500 subsidy is gone. Okay, so does that affect this car? I think it will. So just always remember that people are not looking at this as a technology. They're also looking at this as an auto play, and it's just not that great. So what you want to do is just trade this. See, we have that declining situation. You have to get above and close above back to that 338. Once you get above that, then you can get rid of that downtrend, and we can have an uptrend. So we have a nice good level all the way up there, back up to that 357 level, and then we have a level up there at that 365. Then we can go higher to all these levels here. But right now, we just have a downtrending consolidation kind of a chart. So just watch this key 100-day. You need to hold that, and we need to hold this 288 level. That's going to be key. If not, we're going to start hitting all these levels and maybe even a big retest all the way down at that 214 level. So just trade this. Do yourself a favor. This is a trading stock, and it's a really good trading stock, both directions, because it has a lot of good movement. Don't get me wrong. Okay, it's just that you're selling dreams here, and it's just for this to go up, say, I'm going to say, I just think that run on Tesla is done. Okay, let's take a look here at Palantir. Okay, here we have Palantir. Now, this is how a stock is supposed to look. See this? Bottom left, upper right. Look how nice that is. Now, their earnings are coming out here on the 4th, and I think they're going to have low-way numbers, and I think she's going to go higher, but we got to see. Okay, now always remember, we want to watch the reaction the same way we want to do is Meta. Meta came out yesterday. The number is good. Boom, jumped in it, scalped. What did I get? I scalped, I think, like 40 points out of that thing, and I'm done. Okay, I have a long-term position, Meta. Don't get me wrong. I have long position in Microsoft and Amazon and NVIDIA, all these. But I'm talking about my trading position. You just want to get in there and trade it. So we got to watch what the news is when this comes out on the 4th. Does she blast up? Now, the big blast is going to be this 160. If they have good numbers, this can blast all the way up to that 200 mark. Don't get me wrong. So on the downside, you want to watch that 156. That 149 level, and then we want to watch that 139, and then we want to watch 130 for the retest and possible 100-day and possible 200-day. That is your downside. But as this is trending up, see, this is nowhere near overbought. Look how nice that is. Just a strong stock. That's what we're looking for, okay? So very, very nicely uptrend. Bottom left, upper right kind of a situation. Now, we correct that 160, then you got to say a possible, right away you probably hit that 180 going towards 200 level. So we got to see how that all shakes out. But man, just watch that 156, that 21-day, and that 50-day. Now, I'm probably going to get into this. I'm not into this right now, but I probably will jump into this before the earnings. It just looks like it just wants to go higher. So very, very strong here. The green is over your red. Nice sideways action. Very, very strong on the RSI. No divergences. Looking very good. Now, let's take a look at the earnings. Okay, right? So here what we have, boom, up. Look at earnings here, up. Earnings, up. Okay, who says it's not going to happen again? You had, even all the way back here, shot up. Okay, so you had 4 earnings period that has shot up. The odds of that going up higher, I think are pretty damn good. So I'm going to jump into this as long as we hold this 160 area and we hold this 8-day, and that 21-day. This is, I think we can jump into the Palantir and take this longer. I think she's going to go really much higher into that, either into the earnings or even after the earnings. Okay, let's take a look here now at Costco. Okay, here we have Costco. Now, when we look at the earnings period that we had, okay, it kind of sells right on down. Here's another earning, it sells down. Another earnings, it sold right on down. Another earnings sells down. However, how I trade Costco is I trade it into the earnings like I do Apple. All right, I sell half position. After hours, I'll sell the other half. I'll see how that trades. A lot of times what it does is it sells off after the earnings. then that's your buying period. Okay, so a lot of times you could say, oh, I could buy this down here, then it could rally on up. I don't buy it into the earnings. I sell it into the earnings, and then I buy it as a pull down. Then it goes up. Costco's got it really going on. So right now we are above this 8-day, which is very good. So now that's going to be your support, 936. Then we come down to the price channel. You're looking at 925. That is going to be your support levels. Now, if we start losing that, we'll come down to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at, what are we looking at here? We're looking at 897, and then we come down to the bottom there. You're looking at 883, and then we can have a retest all the way down here at 871 if it keeps right on selling. But look at here. We got to an oversold condition, right? The green is down at the bottom of the red. So all we have to do, even though we have it's selling off, again, you want to try to get into this as this sells off. I think Costco is going to go right back here to that 1,000 range with not a problem. Now, upside, you're looking at 957. There's your 21-day. Next resistance, 967. Then we have your old 100-day here. We're looking at 974. Then we have 986. And then we have the big retest up there at 995. We get above that, we're going to come right to the top there at 1,005. And you can work yourself all the way up here to that 1,067. And then 178, that is your breakout, which you could go higher. Wish your stock would split. That would be kind of cool. But anyway, this is looking very, very bullish on the stock here. Once we get and close above this 8-day, that can a lot of times be the turnaround. That, again, we have to get above the 21-day and that 200-day. Once we start rocketing above these, then I think it can go higher. Now, we are on the downside, see where everything is like a waterfall over, so don't get me wrong. But we can see how how timing times that 8-day just stopped it cold. But once we get above that, then I think this could be a nice, good buying opportunity because we have a couple of flags. Look at this. This could curl up. That could go much higher. We're sitting at the bottom. We got to an overbought. This could have a nice, good rally, at least a relief rally to that 200-day possible, 21-day possible, 200-day. So let's just see how this all shakes out. But anytime this goes into a selling phase, that's the time that you want to get into your Costco. Okay, that's what I got for you. Now I'll be back here after the pit close. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the indexes. Now, if you are trading the auto sector, trade Tesla. Okay, I mean, a lot of times I'm a little hard on Tesla, and I say this and that. He's selling dreams, and pretty much he is. But it's a very, very good money-making trading stock. That's the key. Ford, don't waste your time with that. GM, don't waste your time with that. That's going nowhere, especially we got to see what's going to happen when those tariffs, not the tariffs, but the subsidies come off at $7,500 at the end of September. The only one I think that can hold the mud would be a Tesla, but either that, just take it long, you could take it short, and it's a very, very good trading stock. Okay, so just remember that. But, I just think the time where it has that big, big rally all the way on up here, you're going to need a really, really big catalyst in order to do that. But again, if they can get that robo-taxi going and they can, get the Cybertruck back going and get the car start selling again, then maybe you could. But he's talking about this car that's for 30 grand and all this. But you got to actually get it out where people can buy it. You can't just keep talking about it because, it's like the kid that cried wolf. Eventually, you're going to forget about it. And that's the kind of situation. So just trade that stock. It's a very, very good trader. All right. Thanks for watching.